underway. They're ready to get things going. It's the Netherlands in that famous all-orange kit, bright orange socks, orange shorts and orange shirts, as the players take the knee to continue the message that there is no room for racism. And Cheryl Foster is the referee this evening, Welsh referee, and it will be Sweden who are ready to get things underway when we have the time to do so. It's just hit 8 o'clock. Referee does her final checks to make sure everything is ready, and we can get things going in what has been one of the most highly anticipated matches in this Women's Euros. We've already had some mouth-watering games, but this one is the one that everyone will be looking forward to, and it is Sweden who get things underway, who are in that dark navy blue kit, navy blue socks, navy blue shorts, and the same top too, with that yellow stripe running down the back of them as well, and down the side too, as they play it out to the goalkeeper Hedvig Lindahl. I'll run you through the two teams, starting with the Netherlands. We've seen them set up in a 4-3-3 with Sarri van Veenendaal, the captain, in goal. Back four of Lynn Willems, Stephanie van der Gracht, Aniek Nouwen and Dominique Janssen. In midfield for the Netherlands, Jackie Groenen, Danielle van der Donk and Sherida Spitzer. And up front, Jill Ward, Vivianne Miedema and Lieke Martens. The ball's just gone out of play, as we see on our screens. The Netherlands manager, Mark Parsons, who of course has just become the Netherlands manager after Serena Wiegman left her role and has become the England manager. I'll quickly take you through the Swedish team as well. We'll have to wait and see how they're going to set up, because they told us it was going to be a 3-4-3. Looks a little bit more like it's going to be a back four, but it's Hedvig Lindahl in goal, Amanda Ilsted, Natalie Bjorn and Magda Eriksson across the back. Hannah Glass, Philippa Angeldal, Caroline Seeger and Jonna Andersson through the middle. Kosavari Aslani, Lena Hurtig and Fridolina Rolfö are the three up front. And both sides will be hoping they can start this game lively, Pat.
Yeah, I'm watching them very closely, the Swedes at the back. Funnily enough, Magdalena Eriksson had a very iffy start there, lost the ball in what could have been a dangerous position. They have got a kind of three at the back which turns into a four as soon as they're defending. It's one of those systems where when you're defending it's one thing, and when you're attacking and on the ball it's something completely different. So clever system they put out there.
Well, it's Jill Ward for the Netherlands who's on the ball now on the near side, finds it through the middle to Jackie Groenen and just tries to play it through from Sherida Spitzer, who was right in the centre of play and just saw a couple of options in front of her but couldn't quite find it. And the ball has just been carried out of play and it wasn't able to be kept in by Dominique Janssen. And it's one of these things, isn't it, where it's going to be a nervy start for both sides, because they know how much pressure is on the teams. It's the reigning champions against the competition favourites.
They will be, since the draw was made, they've been thinking of this every day. I know they've got their club games, but they've looked forward to this game. They've all wanted to start this game, and it's come around now. And they all know that this puts a marker down almost for the rest of the tournament. So yeah, it's understandable it's a bit nervy.
That is the voice of the former Scotland international, Pat Nevin, alongside me. 0-0, 2.5 minutes gone. Seeing on our screens as well, Peter Gerhardsson, the Sweden manager, taking charge of this Swedish side, of course. Had great success recently at the Tokyo Olympics, getting that silver medal. It was a heartbreaking end really for them to lose it out on penalties to Canada, but that will bring so much confidence going into this tournament as they try and bring the ball forward. And you can hear the screams already from the crowd that are all in front of us, because there's plenty of Swedish fans in those yellow shirts that are staying right in front of us, and they're making their voices heard. It's actually quite a nice even split, isn't it, Pat, between Swedish and Netherlands fans?
It is, yeah, and there was a lot of fans away to our right there, and I think that's just local fans as well, and it's big numbers that have come as well, but it's perfectly even split, and they will keep behind their team the entire time. Intriguing the way that it has started just now. I see that both of the players, Aslani and Rolfo, are almost playing inside forward roles, behind the striker, which the reason for that, obviously, you've got wing backs. The Swedes are going to fly up the left hand side and the right half side if they get the opportunity.
Well, that's Aniek Nouwen who was able to get the ball quite far up the pitch, and she was looking for Danielle van der Donk, who was making a spirited run forward. They've actually got themselves a throw, and on the far side, the Netherlands, and they will try and make as much as they can from this. Neither side really having any chances on goal yet, but we have only played 4 minutes in this game. but we know how many quick starts we've seen. Earlier today, of course, Portugal against Switzerland. Switzerland 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. That was a blistering start for them. Portugal able to come back and equalise to make it 2-2 in the end. But the fact that they've equalised in the same group, it's a point per team there. Surely that makes it even more important for either the Netherlands or Sweden to get those 3 points.
If you're Netherlands or Sweden, that is exactly the result you wanted. You wanted nothing else than that. It gives you more opportunities, and if you get the win tonight, I mean, you're absolutely off and flying in this group.
Throw in to Sweden in the Netherlands half, quite close to the corner flag on the far side, right in front of all of the Netherlands fans, who are just a sea of orange in front of us, who have been already partying in the streets of Sheffield, making their voices heard, and we've seen it already on social media. Right next to them are the Sweden fans in their yellow outfits, also doing exactly the same, partying and having a good time ahead of what is one of the most exciting games. And Sweden just trying to get away from the Netherlands, but there's about 3 orange shirts just covering over Kosovari Asllani, was trying to break free. She's still got hold of the ball though on that far side near the corner flag. She gives it back to Glass and then can't keep hold of it, Asllani, but it goes out to a throw-in for Sweden.
Given absolutely no space at all to Asllani. I mean, her feet are so quick there when she got the ball. She held it up well, and she's certainly a player that the Dutch have a great more close eye on.
Well, this is nice play from Sweden as Asllani was able to pass the ball over to Hannah Glass, and they've got themselves a corner kick, the first corner of the game. 6 minutes in, 0-0, but Sweden have an opportunity here.
Do you know, one of the features of this tournament so far is the amount of headed goals. It's actually been quite stunning. A large percentage of, including, I think, was it 3 with the Spanish?
Yeah, 3 for Spain. So the claps are going around for this corner kick, which is set to be taken by Hannah Glass, who's looking to swing it in from the far post. It's punched away by Van Veenendaal, and in the end Miedema was able to clear it away from danger, but it's all the way over to Ilstad, who's able to play it forward into the feet of Sweden, but then Jackie Funen right in the centre was getting in the way, couldn't get away from those Swedish players, and Sweden have got it back in their control.
You know, it's really interesting now, and Sweden has sent so many players up there that when the ball broke out, it was 1v1. To go that positive that early on from a corner kick, either that or somebody went up and should have stayed back. They took a little bit of a chance there. I mean, they obviously trust in Eriksson when she stays back on her own, but that took a chance.
Let's talk about that formation, Pat, because we were wondering perhaps what was going to happen as we see Lena Hertz trying to chase that ball down, but it went out of play, and it will be a Netherlands throw in their own half. We were wondering whether it will be that back three. It does seem like Natalie Bjorn is sticking to that central defensive role. Yeah,
I think it is. When you're defending, it's a 3-4-2-1. So, and that's really adaptable, because either of the two wide midfielders can become a fullback as soon as you lose the ball. So, although it becomes a 3-4-2-1, made quite famous when Belgium did it in the World Cup over in Russia. You used it quite a lot. When they lost the ball, it was one system, and when they were in attack, it was a completely different one. But really, if you set it out, it is more of a 3-4-2-1.
Well, Netherlands giving the ball away, and Sweden trying to make the most of this as they stay stuck in the Netherlands half as they try and get a chance in. It's a free kick that will go for Sweden on Philippa Angeldal, right inside Netherlands half, and you have to say they're looking the more dangerous at the moment. Sweden, Netherlands haven't really been able to get anything of their own.
Yeah, it's basically been trying to break without causing any great danger. It's been one very good ball in for the corner kick, which was dealt with very well by Van Veenendaal, but certainly at the moment the Dutch aren't playing with a great deal of confidence, but it is early days.
0-0 here, 8 minutes gone at Bramall Lane. It's going to be Kosovari Asllani to take this free kick halfway inside the Netherlands half. She looks to create one of the first real opportunities for Sweden. It's a decent delivery in. It's still not quite cleared away. It's still in the box, and
I expect the referee to blow up. I can't believe she waited so long there. 2 players down there. I mean, they're not acting. There's no doubt that both players are injured there. That was a really surprise decision there that the referee waited such a long time there. I think it's a collision by 2 Dutch players. They've gone down. I'm really a wee bit worried there. And we've been so unfortunate with a couple of bad injuries so far in this tournament, and we don't want to see any more.
Well, they went down quite dramatically, didn't they, the two Netherlands players, and finally they are getting the treatment that they were asking for. The referee, Cheryl Foster, who had to stop play.
It's just that odd one when, you know, I'm not sure it was a head injury, but it was clearly, it looked as if they weren't two players acting. You don't clear a corner and then have two players, you know, lying down in the box incapable of moving. One's got up, so that's one positive thing, but certainly a lot of playing. It's difficult to see who it was.
It looks like Stephanie van der Gracht who's down.
Well, they certainly wouldn't want to lose her because she is the experience in that back line of fourth. I mean, she's the one player who's over the age of 23 in that back line, so very, very important that she manages to get up and carry on. And by the way, you're mentioning about that ball in from the free kick there from Islandi. It was a brilliant ball, and that's what led to the danger, isn't it? It was whipped in, had to go and hit it. I think, to be honest, both of the players got in there. I suspect Van Veenendaal took both of them out.
Yeah,
three involved.
It looks like it was a collision between all three of the Netherlands players, Lynn Willems, Stephanie van der Gracht and the keeper Sarri van Veenendaal, who's now also sat down and getting some treatment as well, because all three of them went to try and defend that free kick that was coming in from Kosovari Asllani for Sweden.
Can I underline one thing for the listeners? It's not a head injury, so if you're listening in just now, don't worry about that. But both keepers down just now. She looks, it's almost as if she was taken on the side, or it's very, very difficult to see because it was a melee of 3 or 4 Dutch players, but also, you know, there's a couple of Swedish players in there as well, so very, very difficult to see. And understandably, they're not showing a lot of replays of this just now in case it is a totally serious injury. But she's sitting up, so she's going to be, I don't know about fine, but you know, she's going to be able to walk.
It seems like she's holding her rib cage, perhaps, which is where the collision happens. So maybe a little bit of feeling winded, perhaps, when you get that connection. She's still sat down on the floor, Stephanie van der Gracht. So it has been about 2.5 minutes that the players have been down since that collision happened. Sarri van Veenendaal also looking in a little bit of discomfort as well, the Netherlands goalkeeper. We're seeing the replay again on our screens. It was quite the collision between the three players.
It's the worst thing about, you know, football, that the worst injuries always happen when you're not looking to where the collision comes from. It sounds an odd thing to say, but if you see a collision coming, you can take the hit, you can ride with the hit. All three were looking at nothing except the ball, so that's why it was such a strong collision.
Well, you can hear from the cheers there that Stephanie van der Gracht is back up on her feet. She still does look in quite a bit of discomfort as she bends down and holds her knees, because clearly it's not the most comfortable feeling that she's in. The Netherlands players are currently huddled around before play can get underway. The referee, of course, waiting to make sure that Van der Gracht is okay to continue. She's got to have a couple of words. Sarri van Veenendaal still getting attention as well. So this is taking quite a bit of time, which does put a little bit of a pause into the game. We'd only been playing just under 10 minutes when this happened.
Well, what is going to happen in football is vicious this way. The Van der Gracht is back there and not 100% when she comes back on, and the goalkeeper's looking a bit wobbly. They're going to put it in the middle, they're just going to lump it in there and they're going to attack it, and that's just the way football is. If there's any weakness there, it might feel unfair, but that's going to happen now.
Well, the Netherlands, of course, have options on the bench should they need them, but Stephanie van der Gracht, such an experienced player, plays for Ajax in the Netherlands. She's runners-up this year to FC Twente, but she's got her 90th cap today for the Netherlands. 11 goals to her name, and she's certainly not a player that Netherlands want to be without. She's taking a drink of water. She's slightly hobbling off, but she seems to be okay. And Sarri van Veenendaal back in goal as well, and is okay to continue, and the play goes on.
Yeah, just watching down at Van der Gracht. She's not desperate to get back on, is she? She's walking, she's taking a bit of time, she's not shouting to the referee to let her back on, so they've had to reject the back line. Spitz has gone in there to centre back, not a natural position, but she's a very, very good player, so she should be able to cover.
So it's Sweden in possession at the moment. And it's Kosovar Aslani who has it in the midfield. Back to Angeldal, and then it's Hannah Glass who takes it on the far side, but it's intercepted by the Netherlands, who are now in control and looking to try and play this ball forward. At the back it's Aniek Nouwen, who has got the ball for the Netherlands. And you can hear the big cheers because Stephanie van der Gracht is back up on the pitch, which means Sherida Spitzer can go back into her midfield position. And hopefully van der Gracht will be okay for the rest of the game. As the ball comes in from Lynn Wilms, who was looking for Danielle van der Donk, found her, and then Vivian Miedema was able to pick up. Dominique Janssen was on the outside, and he was blocked by Hannah Glass. Netherlands have it back in their possession, but it's quickly taken away from them, and now it's an opportunity for Sweden to come forward all the way from the halfway line. It's Lena Hurtig who needs some options because she was all on her own, and then decides to turn around and pass the ball forward to Jonna Andersson, who was the option for her.
Yeah, very noticeable there that when Miedema, she drops, she's hardly been involved in the game at all, so she drops, let back into the pocket in the kind of 10 position there, but she lost it there, and her team were always put in trouble. I've watched them do this a few times. Miedema doesn't always stay central there. Now and again, Martins will come into that area to free up the space on the left-hand side, so those two almost playing as a double centre forwards at this point in time.
Netherlands 0, Sweden 0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Team Williamson at Pat Nevin, your commentary team at Bramwell Lane in Sheffield. The atmosphere is fantastic. The Dutch fans ahead of us in the stand, and the Swedish fans as well. We've got surrounded by noise, actually. It's a really good turnout, and it's a beautiful evening as well. It's great conditions to be playing a game of football. I'm sure both teams are very happy. Here they are playing in the sunshine and not the rain. And it's Danielle van der Donk who tries to pick up this ball for the Netherlands, but it's quickly taken away from her. Fridolina Rolfo was right on top of her, wasn't letting her get any space at all. And the ball back with Bjorn, and now to Philippa Angeldal in midfield, who's looking to play a nice cross to the far side to Hannah Glass, who's just waiting for the space to open up, and she can't get there because Sherida Spitzer got there in front of her. Yeah,
wrong decision by Glass there. When you've got Hurtig in the middle there, you've got to give her a chance, something to go and attack there. It's the first real chance on that right-hand side. And if you're playing wing-back, that's the job. Full stop. Get it wide, get it in the box, and she had plenty of time and didn't deliver well at all.
It's Eriksson with the ball at the back for Sweden. Back to Ilstedt. And here's Seger, the captain, who is a hugely experienced player for Sweden. 231 caps today. She is the most capped player in Europe and Sweden's most capped player, so one of the true stars of this competition, and she's still going strong, and such a good player too. Plays her football for FC Rosengard, but it's the Netherlands who have an opportunity, and here's van der Donk just on the outside of the area. Back to Spitzer, looks for Vivian Miedema, and there's Jill Hoard, who picks up and tries to go for a different option, has to play it out to Janssen on the far side, and back to Aniek Nouwen, who's just waiting to be that option and change the pathway. It's Van der Gracht who is playing it back to a goalkeeper, Sari van Veenendaal, and they just had to find a couple of different options, the Netherlands, there, because they were getting closed down by Sweden.
Was good closing down, really good closing down. By the way, you mentioned Caroline Segers there. She goes into the top 10 in history tonight of starts for international teams. You know, people listening are amazed at that, and 231 international caps. She takes over from Heather O'Reilly, a good friend of mine. So I'll be reminding Heather of that on Thursday when I speak to her next.
He's dropped out of the top 10. Ball with Sweden and Eriksson at the back, and it looks like Sweden seem to be the more comfortable side in the opening 18 minutes or so. We did have a pretty long break because there was a couple of Netherlands players down, and about 10 minutes in it was Stephanie van der Gracht who got the worst of it, had to have quite an extensive medical treatment on the pitch, so we were stopped for about 3 minutes whilst that was going on, but play has resumed. And both sides just still feeling each other out. It's Angeldal in the centre of the field, passes it through to Ilstedt on the right side, and back to Angeldal, who's looking for that option. It was Hurtig who was making the run forward, but she wasn't able to get that pass because she was going to be in an offside position anyway. Vivian Miedema trying to get there, but she just hasn't been able to get herself involved at the moment, Pat.
Her hold-up play hasn't been good enough yet. that was a good break there. She had Martins out the wide there. She had chances there, but she just couldn't get the ball under control. Little bits of gaps beginning to appear now. It's been really tight. Everyone's been getting close up until now, beginning to see the odd gap here and there. There was a cross ball there that wasn't quite, finding its player on the left-hand side there. But if you're a player and you're a player that likes to play with space, you'll be thinking, I'm beginning to see it now. And as we say that, I think Van Veenendaal's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, this isn't good news for the Netherlands, because Sarah van Veenendaal sat down, and of course play has to stop. She's holding her shoulder. That is what it looks like she's complaining about, and she's not really the type of player to have a moan about it, because she knows how important this game is. She knows how important she is for the Netherlands squad. She definitely doesn't want to miss this.
I'm not going to moan at outfield players, but there's very few goalkeepers that act up. You think about it, you're absolutely spot on. You need to hit them quite hard before they stay down, and she did take a hit there. And the thing, it was so brave of her when she came out. She had you have to do that if you're goalkeeper. The ball's put in a dangerous area. You have to go out and wipe everything in front of you and keep your eye on the ball, and it looks as if she's paid the price for that.
Well, it's Daphne van Domselaar who looks like she is getting ready to come on the pitch, and whilst we wait for this, then let's have a look and have a listen to what's happening in the Rugby League. Let's hear from Dave Woods.
Third game of the day at Magic Weekend at Newcastle. Leeds are leading 12 points to 10 against Castleford. 5 minutes into the second half, Ash Handley on the end of a sweeping move to score in the corner. Martins kicked the goal. Leeds 12, Castleford 10.
Thank you very much, Dave. And it does look that there will be a change for the Netherlands, because Sarah van Veenendaal is making her way off the pitch. It looks like she's not going to be able to continue, so that's a big blow then for the Netherlands. It does mean Daphne van Domselaar, just 22 years old, only made 1 cap for the Netherlands, will be making her 2nd cap for the Netherlands tonight, and she will be thrown into the deep end against one of the toughest opponents in the Euros.
Well, I mentioned to you earlier on how young that back line is for the Dutch, and now you put in a very young goalkeeper on top of that, and I have to say, I think the Swedish forward line will be licking their lips, and Blackstenius will be sitting in that bench just now thinking, give me a chance. But what a chance it is for Van Domselaar. She can make herself the hero tonight.
Well, Van Domselaar on the pitch then. Early change, 21 minutes gone. Netherlands 0, Sweden 0 here on 5 Live. Lots of action happening, but one of the talking points, isn't it, is the injuries that we've been having already. We've only been in sort of match week 1, and we've seen big players get injured. Heard about Simone McGill as well for Northern Ireland, who won't be able to continue, which is a big loss for them. Of course, Alexia Putellas for Spain, and now we'll have to wait and see how big this injury is for Van Veenendaal. Hopefully not too much, because another big player.
Yeah, the upsetting and slightly worrying thing is, it's the end of the season, so players are tired, and you are in a position where if you do get a little bit of injury you could maybe have coped with earlier on in the season, tiredness of the limbs, a little bit of physical fatigue, it can have that effect. It's early in the tournament, you just hope it doesn't keep on going, because the games, as we all know, the BBC, they're coming thick and fast, aren't they?
Yeah, when you look at the schedules, hardly any time to breathe, but it's all fun, because it has been a tournament already, only into day 4, but we've had some fantastic results, some fantastic goals as well, and really top world-class players showing exactly what they're made of. It's the Netherlands who have the ball in their own half as they play it out to Miedema, who's on the halfway line. It's now Jill Hoard who picks it up again just inside the Netherlands half, and they're trying to play it forward, but Sweden are really closing them down. They're all over them as soon as the Netherlands have the ball. There's about 2 players on top of the 2 Swedish players, on top of the Netherlands players, trying to get into them.
Well done, Vivian Miedema there, and she dropped again into that pocket. This time she got the ball, little half volley through, almost got Martins free, and if she got free, that was going to be very tough for Ilestad or Eriksson to get back to her.
Well, Angeldal just got caught in possession there, and Jill Hoard was able to pick the ball up and start carrying it forward for the Netherlands. It's out to the far side to Martins, and Martins will play it back to Spitzer, who's looking for the options to play it into the box. It was Danielle van der Donk who was waiting there. Miedema just outside as well, and we've got the options of Jill Hoort and Jackie Hoonen, who know can make the runs into those boxes, but Netherlands being pushed back once again by the Swedes.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on about that. It's one of the things the Swedes have been delighted about so far. When the Netherlands did want to play the ball through the middle, they're good technical players. But when they're getting into those areas, they have been squeezed. The energy levels on that midfield of the Swedish team have been absolutely superb. And you've got to say, Angerdal and Seger, absolutely superb so far. The question remains, it's a warm night, can they keep it up?
It certainly is a long night, 24 minutes gone, still goalless here at Bramall Lane. It's Sweden who have the ball at the back with the goalkeeper Lindahl, who hasn't really had to do too much in the opening 25 minutes or so. It has been stopped though with some lengthy injuries for the Netherlands. One big player for the Netherlands who's just gone missing, Van Veenendaal, has had to be swapped by Van Domselaar, but it's Sweden now on the attack, and they've got the ball here with Asllani, who plays it out to Anna Glass. Glass is looking for the options. Asllani has gone to ground. She's back up on her feet though, and that was an option gone though for Sweden, and here they come again. Fridolina Rolfo with the ball, and Asllani with a great shot, and it went the other side netting, and that was possibly the best chance that Sweden have had to try and break the deadlock.
She was in front of the goal, so it was a very, very acute angle. But the speed of her feet there to get it out is zipped into her. But she gets the ball first time, takes it round the play with the first touch. And how she got her body shape into the right area there, just in time, on the half volley, gets it round, not quite in target. And it would have been a real question for Van Domselaar just on the field. She didn't need to make the save, but that's the biggest chance, you're right, so far.
Netherlands with the ball in Sweden's half on the far side. It's Lieke Martens who plays it back to Janssen, and now Nouwen switches the play, and as she was trying to do so, it was picked up by Rolfo, and she goes from distance. She saw an opportunity, and she can hit one if she wants to. Fridolina Rolfo is almost on the halfway line, and she saw the goalkeeper Van Domselaar off a line, and she took a chance.
Well done. I mean, brilliant vision there. She just takes one touch. As soon as it's down, she sees the goalkeeper's off her line. She isn't the tallest goalkeeper, Van Domselaar, so you know, she's actually leathered it there. You need to chip those ones. You need to give it a little bit of swerve when you're hitting it from, you know, 40, 50 yards. Just give it a little bit too much, just a little bit too much excitement. But it has to be said, it was the correct idea.
Well, Fridolina Rolfo, definitely one of the players to watch in the Women's Euros. Been so good for Barcelona domestically, won the domestic double, also Champions League runner-up, which will have ended her season on a little bit of a sour note, having lost to Lyon, but she scored so many goals for them. She was named the Swedish Player of the Year as well last year too. Just shows how important she is for them, can get in such great positions too. But it's the Netherlands who have the ball on the halfway line, and it's now with Willems. Willems has got Jill Roord right ahead of her, finds her too in a little bit of space, and she can try and drive the ball infield to find Dania van den Donk. A little back flick from Van den Donk to find Roord, and now Van den Donk again on the edge of the area. Willems is the option to her right, and behind Jackie Groenen is available too. But again, Sweden doing the job that they have been doing in the opening half an hour and closing Netherlands down, not giving them any real chance, because they can get the ball around the box, but they're not getting in the box.
No, they aren't, and the defending's good, and the screen by Seger and Angerdal has been very good as well. Having said that, fans loved that Van den Donk moment there, didn't they? Really good vision there. A little bit of a back heel. It wasn't done for show. It was the only way out of the situation. Lovely bit of skill, but you're right, it didn't affect that Swedish backline.
Martens decides to shoot from distance this time. It was almost identical to what Fridolina Rolfo was doing, but Lieke Martens a little bit closer to the goal this time and just went wide.
Yeah, I can see what she's doing, but you know, the goalkeeper's on the 6-yard line. You're going to struggle to chip anyone from there without any great power, and there wasn't any great power in that shot.
All right, then, before we continue, let's head back to the Magic Weekend and hear from Dave Woods.
Leeds have extended the lead 18 points to 10 now against Castleford. 25 minutes to go. Aidan Caesar cutting through after a scampering run. Martins kicked the goal again. Leeds 18, Castleford 10.
Well, it's 0-0 here at Bramall Lane. It's Vivian Miedema with the ball in her possession, and Martins back to Miedema again, who has been quiet in the opening half an hour of this match so far. The ball is in Sweden's half, and it's on the halfway line now though, with the Netherlands in possession, but they've given it back to Sweden, and it's Seger who holds on to this, with Ilsted looking to play it forward, and as she does so, the ball goes out of play for a Netherlands throw.
If you're Sweden and you've looked at this game, and although there are lots of good players, you want to stop Martins, right? You don't want to get the ball, you don't want her running at a defender so that she can put great crosses in for Miedema. that's number one in your tactics. So far, it's absolutely worked a treat. Those players have got very, very little so far out of the defence.
Wilms with the ball forward to Groenen. Here's Roord, and Spitzer looking to get in on the edge of the box, but it was intercepted by Aslani, and now it's Sweden who can try and come forward and counter. They've got options as well. There's 3 players going forward, and it's Rolfo who's looking for Hurtig, who's going all at it on her own, and the ball from Fridolina Rolfo was a little bit too much on there. It does mean that Hurtig can pick this up, but it's gone all the way to the far side. It's now Glass who picks it up on the far side on the edge of the box, and the ball's played in, but it couldn't be found by Angeldal, who just gets rid of it, and Netherlands back in possession with Vivian Miedema.
Again, getting the right hand side, they are not getting a good ball in. They're not really willing to put it into the box. I mean, I suppose just because we've seen so many headed goals in this tournament so far, you expect people to, you know, put it in there. And Hurtig, she's decent in the air, you know, give her at least a chance to go for it. And I think it's possibly because Aslani, who's not the tallest, is in there as well. They want to put the perfect ball in there, aren't they? You can't do that. Sometimes you have to put it into the area between the defenders and the goalkeeper.
Spitzer has the ball in her possession in Netherlands half. At the back with Van der Gracht, who seems to be moving okay after that injury that she had in the opening 10 minutes or so, which meant we were paused for about 3 minutes of this game. But the ball now to the feet of Miedema. He crosses it over the halfway line and finds Wilms on this near side, and it's found to Roord, who's trying to drive forward. Van der Donk and Martens are both arriving in the box. Roord was doing well to try and get through, but she just couldn't get away from Fridolina Rolfo, who was not letting it get anywhere near the box. And it's Rolfo who has the ball in possession, but Jill Roord wasn't letting Rolfo get anywhere through, and it's going back and forth. Roord still with the ball in her possession, this time decides to shoot from the outside area of the box, and it goes straight into the hands comfortably for Lindahl.
You know, you can look at it in 2 ways. You could say that was quite bitty, that play, the way it went, because, you know, the ball changed hands 3 or 4 times. I look at it differently. I just think it was great closing down. There's very, very good tackling there. The work rate's been fantastic from those 2 sets of midfields in there, but I'm still wanting the class players to get on the ball in areas in the last third with a little bit of space, and it just isn't happening yet for, well, particularly Martens and to some degree Aslani as well.
0-0. Netherlands against Sweden. We're seeing real world-class players on show here this evening on BBC Radio 5 Live. Pat Nevin, the former Scotland international, alongside me. We have been seeing a couple of good little challenges going in, good head-to-heads as well with a few players. And it's Sweden who have the ball in their possession, with Seger looking to play it over the halfway line and into Dutch territory. She's getting ushered off the ball a little bit by Miedema, but it's picked up by Hurtig, who comes to this near side looking to get away from Groenen, and Groenen was able to get a toe in there, and it's a throw in to Sweden.
Defences so far fairly much on top. Most of the best play has been by defenders, but no one's taking massive chances, you know, apart from set pieces, you know, to send too many players forward. I think there's a good deal of respect from both sides towards each other.
There was a foul from Lynn Wilms, the Dutch defender, onto Lena Hurtig.
Well, there's the chance, Gina. This is the chance, isn't it? You've got to put it on top of the goalkeeper now. You've got to ask that question. You've got enough big players. I mean, they're a tall side, the Swedes. The quality of the last ball in by Aslani was absolutely fantastic. Stick it right on top of the goalkeeper. That's what you've got to do now, with a little bit of a whip, and ask the question.
So it's almost level with the 6-yard box, but it's really close to this near touchline. It will be Aslani again who will whip that ball in. The header was there, but it was Wilms who was able to head it away, and it will be Seger to pick this up to keep the opportunity alive on the far side for Sweden. But that was good defensive work in the end by the Netherlands and Miedema, who stopped that chance from coming in, and it's another throw in to Sweden on the far side.
Yep, she's worked hard, hasn't she, Miedema? You see that about her. When she's had to do defending, she's worked hard, she's got back there. She's a good physical presence back there when she has to be from those set pieces as well.
Aslani keeping this alive as well for Sweden, and every time it's Dominic Jonsson on that far side who has to stop Sweden from coming in on that far right side, because that's where they're getting most joy out, really, from Anna Glass and Aslani were dominating that place, and it was a decent in-swinging ball as well, but it was picked up by Van Domselaar, and she gets a huge cheer because she's right in front of the Netherlands fans, and that's the first big involvement that she's had to have and make sure she can get that save and get those hands to the ball.
Well, that's long overdue, and I think it was Angeldal who put that ball in there. He had to ask that question. It's taken him about 15-20 minutes to ask the question of the keeper, and in that occasion, Van Domselaar, she was up to it. Good catch.
An update on the score in the rugby: Leeds 22, Castleford 10 at Magic Weekend. 20 minutes left to play in that one, as the ball comes into Lena Hurtig, and it was such a big opportunity because the ball was swinging into the far side and Hurtig was unmarked, had a header to it but wasn't able to direct it in the right way and find the back of the net.
I don't think she was actually going for the net. I think she was trying to get a little nod down at the back post, hoping for one of her players to come in there, and certainly there was a couple that got in. Anderson was in there trying to get into the back post from the left wing back position.
A big challenge coming in from Jonsson, who was able to get the ball all the way back to Ilsted for Sweden, and now Sweden playing out from the back again. Angeldal in the centre of the field and plays it through to Aslani, who will take on Aniek Nouwen, and she does so brilliantly as well. This is a big opportunity, and there's Anderson to make it 1-0, and they couldn't keep it away, the Netherlands, and Sweden have opened the scoring. It was a brilliantly worked goal from Sweden, and finally that hard work has paid off. Jonna Anderson with the goal. Netherlands 0, Sweden 1.
Well, she almost got on the end of something about 2 minutes ago. Oh, not down at the back post. I'm desperate not to say I told you so, but how good is Aslani? Seriously, she gets the ball on the far side. She has been a class act today. Lovely little dummy. I think there might even be a nutmeg. There is a nutmeg. Gets to the byline and cuts it back. She knows Anderson's at the back post. Takes a touch there. Nothing the keeper can do. But when the space is opened up for the quality players, and by the way, Aslani's ball in there, she's only gave half the defence the eyes as well. What a goal, and so certainly you can't argue they deserve to be ahead just now, Sweden.
Netherlands 0, Sweden 1. Jonna Anderson, 36 minutes on the clock, and Sweden are in the lead, and that is exactly what they would have wanted before half-time as well. They were pushing for it, not too many big chances of note, but this was a big one, and almost straight away Netherlands can try and get something from this, and it's Martens who takes a shot right inside the area. She found herself in a bit of space. Miedema did most of the work and laid it off to Lieke Martens, who took her opportunity and took a strike straight into the hands of Lindahl.
Oh, the Swedes caused their own problem there. There was no danger there. They had to just be sensible and hold on to the ball. One of the most dangerous things is football is when you've just scored a goal, and it seems as if they just switched off for a second there. They've been so good defensively for most of this game, and that's a little warning call, wake-up call.
And Lloyd was trying to come forward, but it was quickly blocked by Magdalena Eriksson. So Anderson, just her third goal in a Sweden shirt, and what a time to get the goal as well. The Netherlands without their #1 goalkeeper, Sarah van Veenendaal, who had to go off through injury. Daphne van Domselaar came on, making just her second cap for the Netherlands, wasn't able to keep out that goal from Jonna Anderson, and now it's the opportunity for the Netherlands to see if they can respond to going that goal down in the first half.
That is intriguing, isn't it, about the Netherlands showing, you know, when they capitulated against England in that second half. So the question's going to be asked again now. Are you brave enough? Are you believing yourself enough?
Well, here they come again, Sweden. It's Fridolina Rolfö who's carrying this ball back to Jonna Anderson, who scored the first goal, and Lena Hurtig with a diving header. Couldn't get it on towards the goal, but that was another fantastic opportunity. It's now Aniek Nouwen who's down, and she'll have to get some medical attention, but Lena Hurtig, who we know can score brilliant goals when she's in front of goal, and that was a big opportunity again.
Very brave, wasn't it? Another really good break there. They can't win the ball at all and keep it in midfield, the Netherlands just now, and when they're breaking, there's so many blue shirts flying forward, balls played out wide. When it's zipped into the middle, I think she's second favourite to get her head on it, but she's dived at the feet of the defender Newton coming in there, got her head in front, and oh, she's gone over on her right ankle. Well, that'll be a very sore one for Newton. It's one of those ones where that's going to be incredibly painful, because Hurtig has basically rolled on her after heading the ball, and she prolated her ankle to over on the right hand side. So in one of those ones where you could be finished for the tournament, or else you could be running 30 seconds later, I can promise you one thing: it was hell of a painful when it happened. It's a horrible one to get those ones. I don't think she's looking as if she can put a lot of weight in that, is she?
Well, she looked like she was in tears when she was on the floor. She's hobbling off the pitch now. She's being held by the medical trainer, and she's hobbling off the pitch. It might be another forced change for the Netherlands here. They'll have to see how she can get on. Whilst we do wait to see if Aniek Nouwen can continue on in this game, let's go back to the rugby and speak to Dave Woods and see what the latest score is there.
Leeds well on the way to a win here, 28-10 against Castleford, 14 minutes left to play. 2 tries since last with us, Richie Myler and James Bentley on an angled run just a moment ago. So Leeds 28, Castleford 10 at just under 40 minutes to play.
Lots of sport happening on BBC Radio 5 Live from 10 o'clock tonight. 5 Live boxing, Derek Chisora against Kuba Poulen at the O2 with our team of Ronald McIntosh, Carl Froch and Josh Taylor. That's from 10 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live. But right now we are watching the Women's Euros. Netherlands currently down by 1-0 against Sweden. 5 minutes to go until half-time. But it's the Netherlands who are on the attack now. It's Jill Hoort on this near side looking to play it into Van der Donk, who was right on the penalty spot and just lifted her shot over and wide.
Really good move now, and considering I've got 10 players on the field there, really positive. I mean, she's a good enough player, a very good player, Van der Donk, but that ball landing on the penalty spot on the half volley, you want it to be Miedema, don't you? You really want it to be Miedema. She was behind there and didn't get a chance to have that little chance there. It's a tough call to take, a tough one to take, because it was on the half volley, but that's meat and drink for Miedema, isn't it? She would have got that on target.
Well, Aniek Nouwen, there's the answer, is not able to continue. So Marissa Olieslagers is the player to replace her. So 2 forced substitutions for the Netherlands already in the first half.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It's not been a dirty game, and they've not been over physical. You know, you have to go and attack the balls, and they've just been incredibly unlucky. And they're actually fortunate they nearly lost another player as well, Van der Graaf. So they're not having their troubles to see at the moment, the Netherlands, and they're a goal down.
It's Sego with the ball for Sweden in the Netherlands territory as they play the ball again down that right side, which they have been dominating, and it's Glass who's able to get away from the Dutch defenders. She puts the ball into the box, but it's headed away only as far as Eriksson. And now it's Helena Rolfer on this near side looking to play the ball into the box, just waiting for those options to come available to her and waiting for the right time to release the ball. When she did, though, it landed straight into the feet of Jackie Groenen. And now the Netherlands have the ball back in their possession. It's Roord who just turns and takes her time a little bit. And back to Wilms. It was almost, as she played the ball back to Wilms, who played it to Van Domselaar. Lina Hurtig was still hanging around there, waiting to get her opportunity, and almost put Van Domselaar off.
It's a real worrying time now for the Dutch team. They really want to make sure they can get to half-time, certainly not lose a goal before half-time, because that would change everything. But if they can get into half-time, either get a late goal obviously in this half, or just 1-0 down, the manager can get in, maybe adapt the system a little bit. There's so many changes made. 15 minutes to calm themselves down and get themselves back into this game.
Miedema, who's playing the ball back to Dominique Janssen for the Netherlands, and Janssen to her keeper Van Domselaar, who has been called into action in the first half after Van Veenendaal went off injured. It's currently Netherlands 0, Sweden 1. About 2 minutes left to play until we find out how much added time there will be in this first half, and I'm expecting quite a few minutes because of that injury.
Absolutely, so it is a little bit of time they have to last to get there. Interesting when the ball went back to Van Domselaar there. She's so comfortable on the ball. I bet she's played outfield before. But then it's a classic one of Dutch goalkeepers. They're all good with their feet, aren't they? It's the classic old one.
Wanted to be a striker, but then put into goal.
Yeah, absolutely. No, she looks really comfortable there, and it's one of the big things you'll need. You'll need every single player in that back line to be at their very best tonight.
Well, it's a throw in to Sweden on the near side. It was Anderson who took it, trying to find Aslani, and Van der Gracht was right on top of Aslani, not letting him get through, who has already been so dangerous, Aslani, in this game. It's back out for another throw-in to Sweden, and Anderson takes this time finding Hurtig, but Roord also there too, and she's fighting her way through to keep hold of that possession, and Wilms was trying to get the ball away, and again Hurtig putting a foot in there, not letting the Netherlands get out of this near corner.
She's putting a shift in, isn't she, Hurtig? She really works hard there, and it's one of those players that, you know, if she's in your team, you really love it, because you make space, because she's running into every area. She's given none of the centre-backs or the full-backs any time whatsoever. And midfielders love playing with players like that, and so far she's been one of the stars of the evening.
The ball out to a throw-in for the Netherlands in their own half, and it's Willems who sends it back to the goalkeeper Van Domselaar. And now Janssen, who's dropped back into that centre-back position after they had to make the change. Jacqueline Nouwen going off and Marissa Olieslagers coming on, and Olieslagers making her way into the left side of the back four for the Netherlands.
She looked a little bit rusty when she came on. Her first involvement in the game there, she was beaten easily down to the byline, so she needs to get involved in this game there. She's desperate to get forward though, I say that to her in that left back position.
Well, we thought there might be quite a bit of time added on. There is 7 minutes added on in this first half, and that will be all down to those injuries that the Netherlands have had, and it's been ruthless for them, really, is the only way to describe it. Their first game in these Women's Euros, and they've potentially got 3 players down, because although Van der Gracht is continuing on, don't know how she'll feel at half-time.
That's a very, very good point, because you've sat down for 15 minutes after that, and it can all seize up, because there's no doubt, it looked actually she had the worst injury of all when she first went down, but she's been brave and she's carried on.
Well, Miedema with the ball infield, and it's given to Roord, and now Van der Donk who picks this up back to Groenen in the centre circle, looking to play it out to Olieslagers, who has just come on the pitch, one of the substitutes, one of the 4 substitutes that was due to make by Mark Parsons, who has probably got a little bit of thinking to do at half-time.
He has done, but it's the real positivity with the way that they're playing just now. Wilms has pushed up a lot more in these last 5 minutes or so, and on the left-hand side, as we say, you know, Olieslagers has come on, and she could be as a defensive player, but when she gets the ball, she wants to get forward on the left-hand side as well. Problem for them is that leaves them 2 at the back, sometimes 2v2 at the back. I think it may well in the end suit the Swedes a bit more.
The Netherlands have to defend against the experience of Lina Hurtig, who is getting right involved on this near side as they're trying to get the ball away from the Netherlands, and it's Rolfer who draws in the foul right near the halfway line in front of the 2 dugouts. The 2 managers have been stood at the dugouts pretty much the whole game. It's a nervy affair, really, because they know how much this game means to both of them. Of course, in this Group C, Portugal and Switzerland played earlier today. That game finished 2-2, so a point apiece for those 2 countries. So how important 3 points will be for either nation today if they can get it. Janssen with the ball at the back for the Netherlands. Through to Groenen, who's making herself available as the option. It's Sweden who can sit back a little bit because they have been the side in control, but the Netherlands starting to get more and more opportunities as the game grows forward. We're into the 3rd minute of the 7 that were added on in this first half because of that long injury spell. We're at the back now with Van der Gracht for the Netherlands, through to Janssen. Just waiting patiently, the Netherlands, to try and get those spaces through, because Sweden have been doing so well this first half to close the Netherlands down, and that's exactly what they're doing. On to Jackie Groenen, who was almost caught out. It's back to Janssen for the Netherlands, and now we're into the halfway line. And Martens was trying to get forward, but it's been taken away from her by Aslani again for Sweden. Back to Seger in the centre circle. And Glass on that right side, which is the preferred side that Sweden have been going down this whole time. It's Angeldal who takes over for her. Now Glass looking to play that ball into the box, but a little bit too heavy of a touch, and the Netherlands have it now. And it's Vivianne Miedema who's making a fast pacey run forward, and the ball just got away from her there.
Yeah, but she's doing all the right things there, but it's such a long game now. There are spaces open up. These last 5 minutes or so, you're absolutely right, the Dutch will get much better possession, but they're only getting it really in their own half of the field. They've been closed down as soon as they come towards the halfway line, but the game is definitely stretching now. There's a few tired legs out there now.
It's Anderson who has the ball and swings it into the box, and Hurtig with a strong header. She was arriving as well at the back post, and it was a collision between Van Domselaar and Hurtig, both of them going for the ball. Van Domselaar able to get a touch on it just to get it away from Hurtig, but that was another big chance, and it was Anderson who did a brilliant delivery into the box.
You know what, I don't think she got anything on it at all, Van Domselaar, but she got out there and she put Hurtig off, and that's all you need to do. You do enough of it, get your body, make sure there's a physical presence there, and that was enough to put Hurtig off. But once again, as soon as you change goalkeepers, I expected far more balls to be put in and put the keeper under pressure. So far, she's actually done very well when she's been put under pressure.
Williams playing the ball out the back, looking for Hoort, and she's not happy with that challenge from Eriksson as she slams a hand to the ground and looks to the referee, Cheryl Foster, and Foster giving that to the Netherlands.
I think that's a very easy call, that. The thing is, players like Magdalena Eriksson and Ilestedt, they've got very tight, haven't they? And they've given Miedema very few opportunities to get easy ball into her feet, and that's why Miedema's coming a little bit deeper, isn't it? She wants to get involved in the game, but every time the ball comes up, she's got a shadow right behind her.
It's Willems with the ball forward to Hoort on this near side for the Netherlands, and it was a little bit too much on that, and it runs away from Hoort, who slaps her thighs in anger, and she wasn't able to get there. We're into the 6th minute of the 7 added on in the first half. It's Netherlands 0, Sweden 1 on 5 Live.
It's been a really good game though, hasn't it? I mean, a real good pace to the game. The only time it slowed down was injuries. But apart from that, I asked the question beforehand about Mark Parsons saying he wanted a high energy game. Well, to be fair, both things have given us that.
Ball lands to the feet of Groenen. Does a nice little bit of skill to get away from Segers, and now Ollie Slager's able to carry the ball forward for the Netherlands. It's out to Martins on the far side, back to Spitzer in field, and back to Janssen for the Netherlands, who looking to this time carry it forward and create a bit more of an option. It's Miedema who gets it just on the edge of the box and back out to Lieke Martins. Now the Netherlands again, just seems like they're running out of options. They're doing all of the hard work building up to it, and then when it really counts, as Groenen puts the ball into the box, back out to Martins. It's Spitzer this time who takes a shot from just outside the box, and again it's gone over.
It's the right thing for Martins to do there. She's got her back to the goal there. She's in the D. She lays it back there, and maybe she could possibly have taken a touch, but you're not getting many chances against this Swedish defence. I have to say, I'm a little bit let down by Martins. She's not done that much going forward, but she may do better in the second half.
Well, a huge roar from the Swedish fans because they've really enjoyed this game. They are a goal up at half-time, but it's been a disappointing first half really for the Netherlands, because a couple of big injuries to big players has seen them go a goal down. It was Sarah van Veenendaal, the captain, in goal, who had to be forced off through injury. So Van Domselaar, just 22 years old, making just her second appearance for the Netherlands, was coming on. And then it was Jonna Andersson for Sweden, who was able to make it 1-0 and break the deadlock before half-time. It's a perfect opportunity for Sweden as well. It was a goal that came just at the right time, 36 minutes into the game. Really, it was a nervy affair, wasn't it? We expected it from both of these sides, who have got a lot of pressure on them. But Sweden, do you think the better side in the first half?
I think they have been the better side. They have more of the play, in the opposition half. They look a little bit stronger. Some of the big players, Miedema, to be fair, she's worked the socks off, but she's been well marshalled there. The likes of Martins and Ruhr, real quality players, but they've been marshalled well. They need to find themselves. They need to give us something else, to get beyond the defender. They haven't managed to do it so far, but they are up against good defenders. On the upside for the Dutch, I'm very impressed by Ulis Lagos, who's come on. She's come on and she's shown as much energy as any other player going forward. And she's a left full-back. So, the hope isn't gone now. But at the moment, Sweden are ahead. And before we say anything else, Steve, the best player made the goal.
If only we had with us a goalkeeper who would come on in a major tournament at a very, very important time, Siobhan Chamberlain. Wouldn't that be great?
I think it's perfectly placed.
I think it is. So you came on Euros quarter-final 2017. Wasn't for your second cap, like it is for Daphne van Domselaar. But goodness me, what a time to make an introduction in a first competitive game.
Oh, most definitely, especially in a major tournament. As you said, the quarterfinals in 2017 I came on, but ahead of that, I'd been to 4 major tournaments, hadn't stepped foot on the pitch. The World Cup quarterfinal in Canada, I came on halfway through the game against the host nation, and that was my first moment in a major tournament. And it's huge for a goalkeeper of however many caps you've got. I had a lot more caps than one at the time, but for this girl coming on, making her second cap, I think she did really well coming out to claim that cross. But I'm surprised that Sweden haven't tried to challenge her a little bit more, because there's bound to be uncertainty there. There's bound to be a slight lack of confidence and kind of how sure you are of yourself in these big moments, because you haven't tested yourself there. But at the same time, for me personally as a goalkeeper, you've done all your preparation. She'll have felt prepared. She'll have done everything that she can do, everything that's in her control. It's about going out there and enjoying the moment. This is your chance to shine. Sari van Wiedenal plays every single minute of every single game, which is why this young girl's only got 1 cap. But it's a great opportunity for her to go out there on the world stage and show exactly what she can do.
Realistically, Pat, nothing she could do on the goal.
Oh, absolutely. It's nothing got to do with her. She's gone out, she's tried to narrow the angle. And actually, in fact, I think she got a little bit on it, but it's a 1-on-1 with a player 5 yards from goal. So no, nothing she could do about that. A couple of crosses put in. I completely agree with Siobhan. I mean, she's not the tallest of goalkeepers, but sometimes if you come on and you're not expecting it, you don't have time to think. You think, oh God, just go on there and do what I do. And she's been very, very brave to come on in that situation and just go and attack the balls, but nothing about the goal that she could do anything about. But I'm just so happy that the best piece of skill in the game has led to the goal. And it's lovely playing the right hand side, nutmeg, and then the eyes instead of putting it to the near post. She gives the eyes as Lanny cuts it back there, and it's not exactly a tap in, but it's not far from it. So no complaints whatsoever about Van Domselaar.
And that is why it's Netherlands 0, Sweden 1 at half-time in the Women's Euros. Of course, we're bringing you second half commentary. Siobhan, Pat, Peen, thank you very much for the time being. Very, very shortly, we're going to look ahead to the next live action on 5 Live. It's been a heck of a day, and even after the football, it's not finished. So we're going to be joined shortly by Carl Froch, of course, former super middleweight champion, to talk about Derek Chisora against Kubrat Pulev at the O2 Arena in London. We'll do that after the latest news on 5 Live with Jill McKenzie.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The newly appointed Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi and the Transport Secretary Grant Shapps are the latest ministers to launch Conservative leadership campaigns. The Defence Secretary Ben Wallace has ruled himself out of the contest. Sri Lanka's president will step down on Wednesday after a day of protests about his handling of the country's economic crisis. Earlier, thousands of demonstrators broke into Gotabaya Rajapaksa's official residence in Colombo and also set fire to the private home of the Prime Minister. Bhavani Fonaseka is a Sri Lankan human rights lawyer.
It's a very, very uncertain time in Sri Lanka, but also unprecedented. There is a real humanitarian crisis growing where people are unable to get meals. There's a medical crisis. So it's a combination of reasons that could lead to a very deadly situation. So there is a very real danger that things could unravel.
A Metropolitan Police officer has appeared in court charged with rape. Scotland Yard says it suspended Paul Hoyle, who's a special constable. He was arrested on Wednesday in connection with an incident in Shropshire. A report says 1 in 6 households in the UK are in serious financial difficulty. That's a rise of 1.6 million families since October. Bristol University and YouGov spoke to more than 5,500 people for the research, which tracked the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on household finances. Professor Sharon Collard is one of the authors of the report.
What we've got is about half of UK households, so that's about 14 million households, who feel their financial situation is worse now than at the start of the pandemic. And I think what we're seeing is the cost of living crisis beginning to impact on households' ability to pay their bills.
And the new Education Minister, Andrea Jenkins, says she raised her middle finger to a crowd outside Downing Street as a response to what she called a baying mob. She hasn't apologised, but said she should have shown more composure.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Netherlands 0, Sweden 1, half-time at the Women's Euros. We've got second-half commentary on the way. Rugby League, it's been magic weekend. It still is magic weekend in Super League, so we've already had wins today. For Toulouse over Wakefield and St Helens over Wigan Warriors. It's finished in the final game of the day, which is Leeds Rhinos, Castleford Tigers. Dave Woods.
Leeds 34, Castleford 20, high scoring, but easily the least quality game this, I would say, today. Leeds turning round a 10-6 deficit at half-time to at one point lead by 34 points to 10. Castleford rather falling apart in the second half. It means that Leeds have now moved up to 7th temporarily, 15 points on the board for them. But as you say, significant scores and results elsewhere. St Helens 4 points clear at the top after that 2018 win at Wigan. And Toulouse are back in the hunt for survival, having beaten Wakefield 38-26. Only 2 points between those two clubs at the bottom end of Super League now.
Thank you very much, Dave. On Sunday, Huddersfield Giants against Salford Red Devils, Catalan Dragons, Warrington Wolves, and then Magic Weekend will finish with the big one for anybody from the city of Hull. Hull KR against Hull FC. 5 Live Sport's been on air since, I think, 10:30, and we're nowhere near done yet. After we finish with the football, we'll turn our attention to the O2 in London. Derek Chisora takes on Kubrat Pulev in their heavyweight rematch. We'll have full commentary. Ron McIntosh, Josh Taylor and former super middleweight champion Carl Froch. Carl's with us. Evening, Carl.
Evening.
Looking forward to this, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. Can't wait for this one. Chisora always seems to put on a bit of a show, so you never know quite what to expect, but it's always a bit of a show with him, so yeah, really looking forward to it.
Thing is, you never know what sort of show it's going to be, right?
Well, he's calmed down a bit now, Chisora. He can be a little bit... let's just say he can go over the top sometimes, especially you see him in the build-up to the fight, with the press conference and the weigh-ins. He gets a bit heavy-handed and starts to try to really get inside his opponent's head by pushing him around or giving him a slap. I remember when he slapped Klitschko in the face, I thought it was out of order, actually, but whatever gets him up for the fight. But he's been quite disciplined on the build-up to this one. But like I say, I'm looking forward to when that first bell goes.
Do you like to see him more disciplined then? Because, when he's not, it is box office, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but sometimes it's a bit close to the bone, and you never quite know, because don't forget, you've got rules and regulations. Sometimes it's a little bit close to getting disqualified or thrown out or kind of ruining the occasion. I do like to see him fired up, but I also like to see him be professional and not bring the sport of boxing into any kind of disrepute, because it's bad for the game. Yeah. But he's a character, and I love watching him, and I'm glad he's still fighting.
We always say it's a big fight. It's always a big fight. If it wasn't a big fight, we wouldn't be doing commentary on it. But it's particularly important, this, for Chisora at this point in his career, I guess.
It is, yeah. I mean, every fight usually is a must-win fight, but it doesn't seem to be the case for Chisora, because he's lost quite a few fights. What is it, 12, 13 fights he's lost? But he loses against the big names, and everybody kind of likes to use Chisora as a measuring stick to whether or not they can step up to world level. Now, Pulev's only lost to the top boys, like, what was he lost to? Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. So he's not coming into this fight expecting to lose, but he's obviously getting on a little bit. So it's a close fight. It's probably a 50-50 fight. Maybe Pulev's a slight favourite with the bookies, but for me, this fight could go either way.
Right, which side of the fence are you on then?
You know what? I want to pick Chisora just because I want him to win. So maybe that's a bit biasness, but I know he can do it. And if he finishes strong, he can nick this on points. He can win it on points. I don't think he gets the stoppage, and I don't think he gets stopped. I mean, Pulev's a big, strong man, and you saw they was getting a bit heavy-handed with each other, and I think he got manhandled, Chisora, by Pulev. Pulev sort of held him off with the top of his head, and he got hold of him when they was coming together at the weigh-in. So Pulev's a big, strong man, and Chisora can take a punch. So I think this fight's going the distance. And I'd like to think if Chisora can finish strong, he might just get the win on points.
Nice one, Carl. Thank you very much. Enjoy it, yeah?
Pleasure, will do.
Top stuff. Carl Froch there with us on 5 Live Sport. And that fight, I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Kubrat Pulev against the unpredictable, shall we say, Derek Chisora. Will be joining 5 Live Boxing at 10 o'clock before Connor Phillips is in for Stephen Nolan at 11. Half-time then in the Women's Euros. Biggest game of the tournament so far. Netherlands 0, Sweden 1. We've got Siobhan Chamberlain with us. And it's a European football match, so somebody thought they'd book Julian Laurent. Evening, Jules.
Good evening, everyone.
You're a big part of the team, man. Big part of the team. Enjoying this so far?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm loving this Euro so far, and France start tomorrow, of course. But it's been great, I think, so far.
Mm-hmm. And this game?
Oh, this game. I mean, I think Siobhan said it earlier. It was the biggest game of this first round of matches. The Germany-Denmark one was good, but this was a step above, even a step higher. We were all waiting for it to see Sweden, especially because I think they were the big favorite of a lot of us, but also the Netherlands, of course, the holders, and see all the superstars against each other. I thought tactically it was quite fascinating tonight, and certainly Sweden tactically have outsmarted the Dutch, who apart trying to be solid and well organized, could not do much with the ball. They cut all passes to Miedema. They really kept really quiet Lieke Martins up to that shot she had with the left foot that was quite easy saved or easy stopped even. And I thought was perfect. The movement, Aslani with the nutmeg, the cross, even the movement from Ertig to leave Anderson on her own. It was brilliant from Sweden. So just the expectations were high on them, and I think they're proving that they will be the big deal so far.
We're going to try and fix your line, Jules, because you're just dropping out slightly. Siobhan, I want to come back to Sari van Veenendaal, because we talked about Von Domselaar, who's come on. From a psychological point of view, because I was reading about her record. 2017, you go back to those Euros, 3 goals conceded in the entirety of the tournament. Obviously playing in a very, very good team. Psychologically, is she one of the kind of the major building blocks? I'm trying to work out whether they'll miss her presence as much as miss her performance.
I think they will do, and I think for me one of the biggest parts is how it impacts on the back line, as opposed to just the impact that she has as a goalkeeper, perhaps making saves or distributing. Because obviously the goalkeeper that's come into it, she's not going to be in the squad if she's not a talented goalkeeper, if she can't make the saves and distribute. But it's the impact that she has on the team that's going to be the biggest difference. And as a back line, if you haven't played with this goalkeeper before, do you know that she's coming in being confident, enjoying what she's doing? She's going to come and start claiming crosses. She's going to be there sweeping up any kind of danger, and she's going to make the big saves. I think it was really positive, the fact that she came for that really early cross, got hold of it, and that would have given the back line confidence as well as giving her confidence in herself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So, Netherlands trailing Sweden by 1-0. Players just on their way back to the pitch now for the second half. We'll have more from Julian Laurent and Siobhan Chamberlain at full time, but let's rejoin your commentary team. Pat Nevin is with Pien Merlinstein.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yes, we're almost ready to get back underway in the second half. It's Viviana Miedema who has the ball to her feet, and she's ready to get going. Again, the referee, Cheryl Foster, just making sure that the rest of her officials are ready as well. But we saw a brilliant first half of action and footballing action. Just the 1 goal, though. Netherlands 0, Sweden 1 as we get underway in the second half of this game. It'll be interesting to see now, Pat, how the Netherlands are going to try and respond to going a goal down in the first half.
Yeah, wondering if they would have made any changes at half-time, but, in the fact that their game plan has been mucked about a bit already with the substitutions, I think he's probably given 1 or 2 players a chance, but they certainly need to get the wide players delivering a little bit more. I feel a wee bit sorry for Miedema. She's had very, very little to attack up front.
Martins with the ball forward looking for Hort, but it was quickly intercepted by the Chelsea captain Madeleine Eriksson, and they've taken the throw in quickly on the near side, the Netherlands. It was Martins who passed it straight through to Jonsson, and now Martins again looking to play that ball into the area where Hunen was waiting for it inside the box, but Sweden have the ball back. in their possession, and I'll run you through the two teams, because as we mentioned, a couple of changes that happened in the first half. No changes at half-time for the Netherlands. So in goal, Daphne van Domselaar. Back four, Wilms, Van der Gracht, Oli Slagers, who was the change for Aniek Nouwen, who went off injured, and Dominique Janssen in midfield. Groenen, Van der Donk and Spitzer, and Roord, Miedema and Martens up top for the Netherlands, who are in their all-orange kit, and plenty of fans that are in their orange kits as well. It's a sea of orange in front of us in the left-hand side, and then the right-hand side is a sea of yellow shirts. Lots of fans enjoying it as well, but it's the Netherlands now attacking the Swedish half, and the ball was coming in, and it was a positive sign this time for the Netherlands, who have started brightly in the second half.
Yeah, much better. They have to get on the front foot, their goal down, but they have to ask those questions that they didn't ask in the first half, and I'm sure the manager's been right on the back telling them to do that, and it is that final ball. That has actually been the problem for both sides, part of that first half.
So corner from the far side for the Netherlands. Would this be an opportunity? It went all the way over to the other side, and it evaded all of the players, and it was Bjorn who was able to head it out for another corner to the Netherlands and stopped any sort of threat from coming in. It's Miedema who picks this ball up, but she won't be taking the corner kick because it's Spitzer who's running forward to it to take this second corner for the Netherlands in the game. Early on, Netherlands 0, Sweden 1 on 5 Live, 2 minutes into the second half, and it's Spitzer who will take this corner for the Netherlands as they try and respond to going a goal down. Nice delivery in, but straight into the hands of Lindahl.
Really interesting defensive tactical outlook from the Swedish team there. They had 9 players inside the 6-yard box. Now, okay, it's a corner kick, but 9 inside the 6-yard box. That was, I don't think they want to give away a goal at a set piece, do they?
Well, here's an opportunity now for Sweden to try and make it 2, because they're going all at it alone. It was a real big opportunity on that far side as Jonna Andersson was charging down as well. Andersson, goal scorer of the first goal for Sweden, was all on her own on that far side, but eventually the Netherlands defenders were able to come back and stop that threat from coming in. Now it's the Netherlands looking to counter, and it's Martens who's driving this ball forward. She goes to the right-hand side to Van der Donk, who plays it into the box, but it's headed away and out by Ilstedt.
Do you know, we had a chat at half-time, didn't we? And I was saying there's going to be more chances in the second half. This game's going to lengthen. It's done it already, hasn't it? It's already much longer. You can see players getting a little bit tired. There's gaps opening up, there's spaces to run into. It's been a really good, lively first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half now. I really hope it carries on like this.
Well, we ran you through the Netherlands team. Let's run you through the Sweden team, because there's been no changes at half-time, so it's still the same team that started the first half. Hedvig Lindahl in goal. Ilstedt, Bjorn and Eriksson make up the back three. Then Glass, Angeldal, Seger and Andersson in midfield. Aslani, Hurtig and Rolfe are the 3 up top, and it's now an opportunity again, and it's Rolfe who's driving this ball forward. Back out to Glass. Glass put it on the plate for Aslani to try and get to it, but there's 3 orange shirts surrounding her and she wasn't able to get to the ball. But again, Sweden looking dangerous when they've got the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the Dutch have to go and push on a little bit, but when they're pushing on, the pace and the intelligence of the running there has been superb from the Swedish team there. But the final ball, not quite good enough.
Aslani thought she had the ball in a possession, but it was Martens who came back and helped her side out and got the tackle in. But it's Sweden who have the ball back in their favour. Rolfe infield, plays it through to Andersson on the left side, and back to Rolfe, and now Angeldal infield, back into the Netherlands half. It's Ilstedt who finds Glass, and this is a nice bit of play from Sweden, because Ilstedt's done an overlapping run and she's been able to swing the ball into the box, but she can't find Rolfe, who was waiting for that delivery to come in. Sweden still have an opportunity here, but it's been taken away as Groenen came in, and the challenge came through as well by Rolfe, and it will go the way of the Netherlands.
Yeah, and once again, I think that's quite a clever free kick. Not a free to particularly like, but it's absolutely true. If a player's going to break away from you, you make sure that she can't get away and run into space. But there will be more spaces. It's the way it's developing this game. Again, looking at this left-hand side, Ulla Slagers, she's been pushed a little bit further back. There's been a little tactical change from the Swedish side. I think they're playing something close to a 4-4-2 now. You know, they've got the 2 strikers up front, and they're running into spaces. They're dragging the centre backs out away, and I suspect there's going to be 1 or 2 more chances for the Swedish forwards.
That's a nice bit of skill from Miedemar to get away from Ilstedt. And here's an opportunity. Van der Donk lays it back off to Miedemar, who picks it up on the edge of the area. Miedemar was hoping to play it into Groenen, and there's the equaliser for the Netherlands from Jill Roord. The ball landed perfectly to her in the box, and that took a bit of skill. And Jill Roord had exactly what was required for the Dutch. And the Netherlands are level. Netherlands 1, Sweden 1.
Well, she's turned on it in a sixpence because she didn't look favourite to score now. Her back was almost to the goal when the ball arrived at her. But that was all about, you talk about the length of this game now. 1 minute you're in attack, next minute, seconds later, they're broken up the field. It was a lovely turn on the side there by Miedemar, wasn't it? And that, I mean, it dragged players out of the defence there. But I still didn't think it was that much of a problem there. When Miedemar plays it out there, the ball gets a lucky deflection back in. And when it comes back in, Roord just didn't think about it. She swivels, keeps it low, aims for the corner.
What a goal for Jill Roord, and at what a time as well. Goal number 20 for her, for the Netherlands, and they are level. And we've just seen the reaction from Mark Parsons. He absolutely enjoyed that, and that definitely took a bit of skill to turn and get that shot away. And that is exactly what he would have wanted from his side coming out in this second half.
Yeah, I mean, they've started very, very lively, but they've left gaps at the back. But that's the way you got to do it. It's a tournament, you're 1 down. It's important that you get back into the game, you ask more questions. And certainly, I mean, Miedemar doesn't score there, but she was absolutely crucial to that goal in 3 different phases of the play.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? The way she got the ball from the halfway line, turned and got away from those Swedish players. Took them a little bit by surprise, really, didn't it?
Yeah. And by the way, didn't give up. When the ball goes away from her, she doesn't go and admire the pass. She gets back into a dangerous position. So, you know, her strength in this game has been really, really impressive. And to be honest, she's a player that, without her, you would wonder where the focal point would be. And remember, when England did beat the Dutch, she wasn't starting. So a big player for the Dutch when she's on that field.
1-1. Netherlands against Sweden in the Women's Euros. The Netherlands were able to respond to going a goal down in the first half. They had a couple of forced injuries as substitutions as well due to injuries. And the big question was, how will they come out in the second half? And they've come out firing. 53 minutes on the clock, and we're all level. And this has got everything in it now to have an exciting second half, because both teams know how important 3 points are in this competition, especially because the other 2 nations in this Group C, Portugal and Switzerland, drew 2-2 earlier on today and took a point apiece.
You can see a real spring in the step of the Netherlands players right now, can't you? A real belief. I mean, it's understandable, you know. They've got a lot of knocks in that first half, and a lot of physical as well as mental knocks, but they've come out in the second half. They've got the reward for being more positive, but the tackles are biting in that much quicker now. A real lively. They needed that. They needed something to raise their confidence.
Well, Louis van Gaal is also in attendance here in Sheffield, watching the Netherlands on. And it's Orly Slagers who has the ball and plays it back to Van Domselaar in goal for the Netherlands. Almost caught out again by Hurtig, who was just making her presence known. And they've done well as well, Sweden, because they've got the ball back in their possession. Caught out the Netherlands, who were just caught napping, really. And Spitzer couldn't keep this out. Angeldal doing really well to stay strong and try and get that cross into the box on this near side for Sweden, and they've got themselves a throw-in as well.
They do close up high up the pitch, don't they? And they know that there's a little bit of discomfort with 1 or 2 of the Dutch players at the back there. They want a little bit of time. They're not going to get any time there at all. They've won the ball in a very dangerous area again.
Into the final third, Sweden. It's Glass who took the throw-in out to Angeldal, and Glass does really well to get around, plays it all the way to the byline, looking to cross it in, and that is a fantastic tackle from Sherida Spitzer, who just stopped Glass from getting that cross in, because that was a very dangerous position.
Great move by Glass there, and you know, she gets herself into brilliant positions. She's not really had the delivery yet, but she keeps on getting into the dangerous positions. You're right, it was a great challenge. Had she not timed that right, however, not on the penalty kick, there would have been definitely some sort of card.
So corner kick then to Sweden on this near side, right in front of the Kop, where the fans are starting at clapping chants, and it's Anderson who sends it in, and it went to the near post and went straight to one of the Dutch defenders, and it's Hunnen who's able to get the ball away and out of danger for now.
They've done it again, the Swedes. They've left one player back, and they're like 2 against 1 there. You know, 1 Swedish defender against 2 Dutch attackers. They're very brave from those corners.
Well, you say they're very brave. They're very brave by putting out their tactical analysis of how to beat themselves.
There is that. Maybe they didn't put that bit out.
Here they go again, and it's Fridolina Rolfö from outside the area, decided to go at it alone. She was right in front of goal, but she was quite a few yards away. Again, took it from distance, and it went straight into the hands of Van Domselaar. Easy enough for her.
Incorrect decision. You know, she's running, and the ball's straight in front of her. She's left-footed. She can't get develop any further, and she's got Aslani running in just about 5 yards to the right of her into the box. I mean, you get excited, it's a big tournament, you know, but that was the wrong decision.
Netherlands 1, Sweden 1 here on 5 Live. What a game we have got for you, because this is 2 of the top teams in Europe going head to head, and it's all level. It's now the Netherlands who are looking to begin their attack of their own. It's Miedema who carries the ball on this near side, looking to go to the byline. She gets away from Ilsted. She keeps on going and finds Spitzer, who decides to take a shot from outside the area. It's still in possession for the Netherlands. Out to Willems, who's looking for a bit of help because she's got 3 blue shirts surrounding her. Decides to go for a cross, but it went straight into the hands of Lindahl.
Different team, the Netherlands now, aren't they? You know, the liveliness, the sharpness, the belief. I mean, every player, apart from the 2 centre-backs, every player's trying to get forward at different times in this game, and that's good to see. I think they're a wee bit too passive in parts of the first half, but I understand why that happened. If you lose important players to injury, it can knock you a little bit. A head knock down there, it was not deliberate. It's right on the back of her head.
Well,
it's Martens, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a collision between Lieke Martens and Amanda Ilsted, and the referee saw it straight away. And of course, when the player's holding their head, they do have to stop play. Cheryl Foster was straight onto that as well. You can see the collision here, both players just going for the ball, and I think Ilsted just perhaps caught the back of Martens, but she's okay to continue. And so they do. Before we do though, the sport keeps on coming on 5 Live. Commentary of Derek Chisora against Kubrat Pulev after 10 o'clock tonight. Then of course the big one tomorrow, the men's final at Wimbledon. Another heavyweight contest between Novak Djokovic and Nick Kyrgios. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah,
Following Wimbledon?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That will not be a quiet game. Can't wait.
They've
for that
both
one.
already said it, haven't they? Even Djokovic, after he went in the semi-final win, already said he was expecting it to be quite an emotional affair. So looking forward to that one, of course, on 5 Live. But it's Sweden against the Netherlands here in the Women's Euros. Sweden have the ball in their possession, looking to respond to the Netherlands equaliser. Here on the near side, Aslani is trying to get away from Janssen, and they've done well, the Dutch, because they've got it back in their possession, and the ball sent all the way infield. And both teams just trying to control this. It's back to Bjorn into the Netherlands half, and now a bit of an opportunity opening for Sweden, and that opportunity was stopped straight in his tracks as Angeldal tried to send the ball to find Glass, but it was a little bit too much on it, and it went out.
It's not like Angeldal, is it? She's, I mean, she played really well tonight, and just 10-15 yard pass, and she just leathered it out wide there. Glass couldn't believe it. She turned around as if to say, what? All you need to do is roll it to me. I'm in a good position to cross, and she didn't get a chance.
Martens, now Miedema, playing this ball forward in the centre circle. This is a quick run here from Wilms, who's got all the way forward. She was in quite a lot of space. Sweden, who were sort of camped on this left side. And Van der Donk is chasing this ball down, looking to get the better of Magda Eriksson, but the experience of Eriksson told her to just get that ball out of play and not take any risks.
She's made a difference in this game, Van der Donk. A really clever player, but the energy levels has been good, and she's actually grown into it as the game has gone on. And early in the game, Miedema was getting nothing out of the centre backs. and it's slowly but surely changed. She's now holding it up, she's rolling the centre-backs, she's developing space for other players to run past her. It's making a huge difference to this Dutch side.
Olieslagers with the ball, looking for Miedema, who's found herself in the area, looks to turn and take the strike on, and she does as well. She found the turn, and she normally can get those goals right in the top corner, and that's what she was aiming for, and it just went wide.
I just got it out of my mouth, and she did exactly the same thing again, but she did it brilliantly. And I mean, she's such a powerful player, but she was getting nothing out of the defenders in the first half. Now she seems to have got her feet going, she seems to have got her balance and her power there. In the end, it took some very, very good and close defending there to put her off slightly, so she put it past the post.
So ball out of play, and just to make a note of how dominant Sweden have been in their past couple of years. They haven't lost a competitive match, that's excluding penalty shootouts, of course, since that 1-0 World Cup semi-final defeat against the Netherlands in 2019. So they have had a very, very strong run since that. Of course, lost to penalties against Canada in that Olympic final, but in normal time played, they haven't lost a game.
Yeah, and that breeds a winning mentality, and you walk out and you believe you're going to do it.
So free kick here to Sweden, halfway into the Netherlands half. On the far side, it will be Asllani again to take this for Sweden. And it's right in front of the Swedish fans as well, who are cheering their side on. Asllani sends the ball into the box. Hurtig was arriving, but it was well away in the end.
It's a hard ball to play, though. She wants to get it between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper there, or even in this occasion, put it a little bit long. Again, ask the keeper the question, and all those blue shirts piling on in her, but a little bit short there. But apart from that, as I say, Asllani's been, she's been one of the best players in the pitch, if not the best so far.
Hurtig just having a little bit of a tussle between Willems, just trying to get away at that far side, and they've been able to come out of it, Sweden. And now Segers for Sweden plays it back to Bjorn. Bjorn through the middle, and again they're just trying to get that ball into the box, but the Netherlands this time are doing a good job of doing what Sweden did to them in the first half.
I just wonder who over there was it. She's trying to play the ball through, and that looked awfully like cramp to me, which is quite early in the game to get cramp. Over on the left hand side, I was trying to see who it was. Was it Anderson? It may well have been Anderson.
Well, here's Fridolina Rolfö playing the ball in. We've played over an hour. It's 1-1 here in the Women's Euros Group C opening match for Sweden and the Netherlands. And the ball's back to Bjorn, who tried to play it through to Glass, and she just couldn't find her, and the ball goes out of play, and the Netherlands throw.
Has made a big difference in this second half. I'm struggling to understand, you make changes, and I think Olieslagers has just been absolutely fantastic since she's come on. She's not been getting forward in this second half, but her tackle has been superb, and she's just looked lively and lively. She's a really good addition to that team.
Well, here come the Netherlands again. It's a nice looking ball forward, looking for Lieke Martens, who was arriving in the box, but so was Lindahl, who had spotted that early on. It was a decent delivery. Martens just had to get there before Lindahl, but Lindahl right on top of it.
Yeah, and she needed a little bit more curl on that ball there. It had to be absolute precision and perfection. It wasn't quite there, but it was the right one to try.
Here's Eriksson with the ball at the back for Sweden to Bjorn. What do you think of the way that Sweden have set up in this match? Because there were questions as the ball just swings over to Hurtig as she was arriving in the area. She picks up the ball as well, and that's an opportunity for them to try and create an attack on goal. And Rolfö on the edge of the area, back to Angeldal. Now Rolfö again picks this up, gets away from a couple of the Dutch defenders, but they've done well to close it down, and it's a Swedish corner.
Basically, the system that the Swedes have put out has worked because, well, you're playing wing backs. So what's happened? One of your wing backs has gone and scored the goal for you. Maybe the quality of crosses from those two wing backs hasn't been what they would have wanted. But from that, you want those players to do well, and they actually have done well getting in the right position. So it's been a good system for them.
Corner on the far side, sent in by Asllani, punched away by Van Domselaar. Still alive though for Sweden in the box, and this time it's Miedema who picks it up, and she'll try and chase this ball and get away from danger, and she does just that by sliding forward and gets a tackle in and gets that ball back in to the Swedish half, and it's picked up by Bjorn.
I'm so impressed with the work rate. It's been absolutely brilliant, considering she was just walking about for most of the game against England. But yeah, Miedema, well done. Chased everything. She'll, however long she lasts, be it another 5 minutes up to the end of the game, she'll sleep tonight.
Well, they'll try again, and it's Hertig who tries to pick the ball up, as the Dutch defenders had a little bit of miscommunication between the two. It's Van der Kracht who again is just bent over double, looks to still be a bit of discomfort. She's okay now, perhaps just got a nick on her foot. Maybe that seems to be what she is complaining about, but play goes on. I guess that is one of the positives for the Netherlands, is that Van der Kracht was able to continue in this second half, because we weren't quite sure, were we, Pat?
Yeah, I'm sure she was concerned about it when she went off, because, you know, when you stop, you know, the adrenaline drops a little bit, then you feel it, and if you do not keep on stretching, whatever the injury is, it can actually just seize up over half time. It's not happened, and it's a big lift for the Dutch.
Angeldal for Sweden, and the ball into the final third, looking to create another opportunity and get that response after that Netherlands equaliser. Could this be the one? It was a lovely delivery in from Rolfe. Lina Sembrant was all the way on the other side, couldn't get to it.
But that's what you were asking about before, about, you know, what you're going to do. You're going to get your wing backs getting into those areas. Well, make sure you put the crosses into the back post when you possibly can, and that's what you do. And you make sure that those wing backs, and this time it's Glass, she gets there, but it was good defended. You have to make sure you cover your back post. That was done in very well in that occasion. I actually couldn't spot who it was. Was it Oslaggers who came into the back post there? I'm not sure it was, who covered well, but whoever it was in that situation, actually I'm looking down to see who it was, and it may have been Janssen. But they've actually done well. I wonder if there'll be I'm looking at the Dutch, considering a change just now, but more than that, the Swedes are going to make not a change, possibly 3. Intriguing times there.
Well, it's Danielle van der Donk who is down getting some medical attention, and she's just recently come back from injury, Van der Donk, and she is down holding her foot, and she's getting some ice on that ankle. Some breaking football news then. Chelsea and Manchester City have agreed a fee for Raheem Sterling. The deal will be worth up to £50 million, including add-ons, contract length 5 years with the option of further 1. So Chelsea will have Raheem Sterling next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Chelsea fans are, well, they like their wingers, I'm told, but they've got quite a lot of them at the moment. You've got Pulisic, you know, you've got, I mean, you've probably got 6 or 7 players that can play in that similar sort of position. It's good news for Chelsea fans that they've got a guy who can score goals, who can make goals. But I think they should be maybe concentrating on centre backs at the moment. Raheem, can you play centre back? Maybe not.
Well, as you mentioned before, Pat, Sweden are ready to make a couple of changes of their own as well. So the first change that we will see then, Lina Hertig is the player who will be replaced by Stina Blackstenius, who was one of the players who wasn't in the starting lineup, and there was questions about that, but she will get a run out, 20 minutes or so. Stina Blackstenius. Jonna Andersson, the next player to be replaced. Scorer of Sweden's goal in the first half. She's replaced by Johanna Riting Karnaid. And then Hannah Bennison, who a lot of people will know from Everton, is the next player on. I actually missed who she went off for.
And I was trying to see
Philippa Angeldal. Angeldal is off. So 3 changes for Sweden, and Van der Donk is back up on her feet.
My good energy levels. What is interesting is I wasn't absolutely surprised, but I kind of half thought that Kinnear would actually be starting this game. She's done so well recently. I think she's unlucky not to start, but she's come on, fresh legs, and that might make a big difference.
Well, here is Kana Eid with the ball now. Getting it into the box, finds Aslani, and she's closed down by Jonsson on the edge of the box, but Aslani will wait for that ball to go out of play, and it's another Sweden throw-in. And as you mentioned there, Pat, Kana Eid is one of those big players for Sweden. She scored her first international goal in the last warm-up friendly against Brazil. It was literally as soon as she got on the pitch, first touch, and she scored. So she will definitely be one to watch in these next 20 minutes or so, as it's Netherlands 1, Sweden 1 here on 5 Live.
Yep, she's going to play there over in the right wing. So we're talking earlier on about you getting the wide players to get the ball in. If you've got attackers that are going to go and go for the ball, and if you've got Blackstenius in there, out-and-out attacker, goal scorer, give her the option, give her the chance, let her attack something, and with a little bit more space developing in the game now, it's a really good time to come on substitute.
Well, it's definitely a very attacking 3 changes really for Sweden, isn't it? Hanna Bennison and Johanna Rytting-Kaneryd and Stina Blackstenius, all 3 who are capable of scoring goals. At the moment the ball is with Aslani, who sends the ball into the box looking for Stina Blackstenius, who was right in front of goal, and it went straight into the hands of Daphne van Domselaar.
But once again, he's going to try and get a little bit more control again. The Netherlands had a good, I say 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the start of the second half. Maybe a little bit more even since then, but I think he's going to try and wrest control of that game now. It's good to see both teams. They're not settling for a draw, are they? Both want to win.
Nah, they can't settle for a draw, Pat.
Oh, but even early in a tournament, oh, trust me, I've seen enough tournaments over the years. Usually in the men's game, you know, 2 big teams think, okay, you're not going to absolutely knock each other out in the first set. I mean, a draw wouldn't be that terrible result for either of them.
No.
But that attitude is not here tonight, is it?
Especially because then every single country in Group C will be on 1 point after the first round of fixtures.
Because you do know these are the 2 strongest, aren't they? The 2 strongest teams in. And the suggestion is if you don't lose this game, if you two games, 2 teams to play against that you're capable of beating. So, but that's not it. Both of them actually are really positive and trying to win this game.
Well, it's another huge attendance for a Women's Euros. 21,342 here this evening. What a huge number. And it's brilliant to see all of the fans coming out to support their nations. And it has been a brilliant atmosphere inside this stadium as well. The Swedish fans, the Netherlands fans, already before the game kicked off, they had a party atmosphere going. And they will like to see a couple more goals as well, as the Swedish were trying to create another attack, but it was quickly stopped by Kunen, who got in the way, and now Miedemar has got to try and get away from Ilsted, and does that, but they give the ball away. And they've got it straight back. It's Van der Kracht who picks it up at the back for the Netherlands, and now Willems, who's trying to play it on that right side to Van der Donk. Willems again, has to get away from those blue shirts who have been surrounding her as she goes down that right-hand side, and she's been able to keep hold of the ball. Actually, she's done brilliantly well, really, but then Sweden in the end keep control. And now we've got a nice little scene, Pat, because everyone's getting their phones out and the lights are coming on. This is pretty.
They've waited until it got a bit, I can't say darker, it's still light out there.
It's light to us, Pat, because it's floodlights,
yes.
So we can't actually see the sky. We've got a big metal thing in front of us, so we have no idea what the sky looks like.
Hey, it's north, it's okay.
But nonetheless, the atmosphere is very nice inside this stadium, and fans have got their flashlights out at the moment, just to show their support for the players. But it is 1-1, and it is a very nervy affair between the reigning champions Netherlands against the highest team in this competition, Sweden, and one of the top favourites as well. Sweden will keep on going as well as they try and get a little bit more of attack on that far side. It was Glass who was trying to get around Van der Donk, and in the end able to get that ball to Eriksson, who was swinging the ball into the box, but it was quickly sent away by the Dutch defence, and it's back out.
It's noticeable that Glass, now she's gone to the left-hand side. You know, she doesn't really want to put it in with her left foot, but then she didn't want to put it with her right foot in the first half either. But she wants to cut back in that, and if you're a defender, you just need to make sure you keep on doing that. Another little injury down there, and Slani this time's gone down. I think she'll be okay.
I was meeting Kanaid, who was trying to get hold of the ball, but that's a really nice bit of skill from Hunan, who just turned away from Kanaid and got the ball forward to Miedemar, who's on her own at the moment. She's waiting for the options, and Jill Lord is in space in front of goal here, just couldn't get the shot away. And what an important block that is from Eriksson, who stopped any chance coming in from Jill Lord, and that was a fantastic opportunity.
It was a brilliant opportunity, but Eriksson had to time it right. She didn't dive in right away. She made sure she had the timing right. She's in the box there. That's almost certainly a goal-saving stop there. But once again, the build-up play through Miedemar, magnificent. She holds it up, she drags the player, and then she hits an inch-perfect through ball.
And now the ball forward for Sweden, looking for Stina Blackstenius, who finds the ball into the box, trying to cut it back into some space, but there was no options for her, and Van der Gracht able to clear the lines for the Netherlands.
She's not slow, Blackstenius, is she? Ball over the top, and she just legged it there. She got to the byline easily, the quickest there, put under a little bit of pressure. Problem for her was none of her teammates were as quick as she was. There was no help up there.
Kanaid now for Sweden on this near side, playing it down and through to Bennison, who's just trying to do a little bit of skill to get away from Hunan and Roord, but Roord was in the way. And now Miedemar again in front of the touchline, in front of the two managers, and the Netherlands, as we can see, are ready to make a couple more changes as well, one of them being Lynette Berenstain, another attacking change for them, and the other change, Victoria Pelova will be replacing Danielle van der Donk.
Yeah, it's interesting about if you bring Berenstain on, you're talking real pace there, aren't you? So she's going to add that to it. It's a really handy thing to have late in a game with a number of tired players around, so she will certainly come on. I wonder if she'll play over on the right hand side. She can play through the middle, but she's usually more capable of playing on the wide areas. And I suppose that's a good idea if you, well, actually, as I say that, she's going straight up front, so it's a slight surprise to me, but
it is Jill Roord who makes way for Lynette Berenstain. Jill Roord, of course, getting that equaliser for the Netherlands about 5 minutes into the second half. It was a blistering start for them, exactly what I'm sure the Dutch manager Mark Parsons would have wanted to see, a response to going a goal down in the first half. But it's, as it stands, Netherlands 1, Sweden 1 here on 5 Live, and we are ready for a very exciting end to this game. We've got about 12 minutes of normal time left to play, and we're expecting plenty more chances. And as you said, Pat, at half-time, there have been more chances, and it's definitely livened up in the second half.
I mean, it does. I mean, it's almost every game of football you'll ever go to see in your life will lengthen in the second half, and there will be more space in the second half. Players just naturally get tired, and they're not robots. However, if I'm a substitute, you know, if I'm going to play a half a game of football, I'll always take the second half, because you will get a little bit more space. I just could see that the energy levels, because both teams play at high tempo, that was always going to happen at some point in this game.
Well, it's definitely been a thoroughly enjoying match. We did have quite a lot of time added on, which does mean we will be off air quickly tonight with the boxing. But before we go into that, here's an opportunity for the Netherlands, who coming down on that far side. Martin's just weaving away through those blue shirts, gets there as well. But then too many players from Sweden in the box, blocking any chance for the Netherlands to try and get an attack in on goal, and they've dealt with that well. As I was saying, because of that long added time that we had in the first half, we'll be off air quickly with the boxing coming up, but you will be able to catch all of the post-match analysis in the Daily Euros podcast, which you can download from BBC Sounds. And there is so much to go over, isn't there? Because this has been a brilliant game, and again, it's one of those games, isn't it, where you're able to really see and test how big these teams are going to be in this competition. Sweden straight away on the other side, looking to make an attack of their own. Kaneryd now looking to play the ball in, and it was a decent cross, and it was forced straight into the hands of Van Domselaar, and 3 of the Dutch players go straight round to her to congratulate her on that.
They've been very good on the right hand side, haven't they, the Swedish team, getting down into very dangerous areas. I mean, Asllani likes to come out to that sort of area on the right hand side and work with whoever the winger is. I think she seems to have a really good understanding with Kaneryd right away there. If she gets the ball to the byline there, puts a cross in. But that was magnificent goalkeeping, wasn't it?
It really was, especially with Stina Blackstenius, who was just hanging around, wasn't she? Waiting as a poacher, really, to try and get that. She knew that was coming towards her.
Yeah, any drop at all there. If she fumbled that at all, that was a tap-in goal. So I would still say that Sweden have probably had most of the second half. Well, for 10-15 minutes I'd say yeah, the Dutch were the better side at the start there. I think probably the Swedes have probably shaded it since then, but there's very little in it now in the game. They're actually very well matched.
9 minutes to go until we find out how much time will be added on in this full time. It's Netherlands 1, Sweden 1 here on 5 Live. It's been a very even game in this second half. The possession stats, as I look to my screen on the right, show that it has been literally 50-50 ball possession, Netherlands and Sweden. So that just shows you what kind of game we are watching at the moment.
I'm happy to say I thought it was quite well matched. Officially, statistically.
Yeah, officially.
Well matched, with 1-1 and 50% possession.
I quite enjoy that, 50-50. Sweden with the ball right in front of the two managers, who are waiting inside their technical areas and giving their instructions to their players on the sidelines, because this will be an intense last couple of minutes of this game, because they know how much it will mean to get a win. One, for the defending European champions if they can beat one of the favourites, and for the favourites Sweden to try and beat the defending European champions.
Yeah. You know, none would be absolutely delighted with a draw, but none will be devastated either if it ends up that way. But just the way this competition's gone so far, you wouldn't be surprised at a late goal. There've been plenty of early goals. You wonder if they're capable of getting a late goal here, and I think there's enough players out there that are good enough to produce the goods.
And Benison picked up that loose ball from the Netherlands as they were looking to get an attack in, and then Groenen able to get the ball back. She goes to ground, and that is a foul from Aslani onto Jackie Groenen. Halfway in.
When you think about it during the game, the Dutch have had very, very few opportunities to clip that ball in from free kicks and corner kicks. You know, you're almost looking at it thinking, well, how are the Swedes going to defend this? Because they've not been asked that many questions from set ball situations. However, this is one. We shall see.
7 minutes to go until full time. Netherlands 1, Sweden 1. It's the Netherlands who have a free kick. And it's Sheridan Spitzer who will take this. It is quite a way out. It's closer to the halfway line. And it's Spitzer who sends the ball into the box. Comes out to Martins, who will try and take it on. It's Pelova now. Turning. That's a nice bit of skill from her, but it gets away from it. And Sweden have the ball back in their possession, and it's Rolfö who carries that ball forward, and Blackstenius was all on her own, and we thought perhaps that Blackstenius could get there, but in the end that pass from Rolfö was a little bit too much and easily dealt with from Van Domselaar.
Well, nobody was catching her. No chance whatsoever.
Here's another opportunity, ball through to Aslani. She tries to go from the edge of the box right into the corner, and again into the hands of Van Domselaar.
Again, it starts lengthening of the game, and you can see what both coaches have done. They've waited until there's tiredness, they've waited until there's space, and they've brought on pure pace. Now, you actually haven't get the chance to see Berenstein's pace yet, but she's got plenty of it. At the moment, she's playing through the centre just now, but Blackstenius, she's looking the most dangerous. Every time they get the ball, they don't think, they just put it over the top, and she is herring after it.
That is the voice of the former Scotland international, Pat Nevin, alongside me, P. Moonstein. We've got about 5 minutes left to play here in this Group C match of the Women's Euros. Netherlands 1, Sweden 1, and it is getting a tense and nervy affair. Although we do have another player of the Netherlands who's down. I think it's Luca Martins who's down. She's holding her toe. She doesn't look to be very comfortable here, because she's putting her head into her arms, holding her foot. And this is just not bad luck for the Netherlands, isn't it? Because it just seems like injury after injury, and it's only the first game of the tournament.
And she does look quite distressed by it. Again, it's probably one of those ones where, you know, her toes been trodden on by another player's boots, and you know, with the boots these days being very, very light, the studs can go straight through there, and she seems really quite distressed by it. Just having a little opportunity to see the first goal in our monitors, and it was a piece of utter brilliance on the right-hand side from Aslani. She's found it difficult to get on the ball as much in the second half. It's a wee bit of a shame for them, but the equalising goal from Ruard. And those of a certain vintage will remember Gert Muller scoring against the Dutch in a World Cup to win the World Cup, scoring a very similar goal.
Maybe she emulated that one then.
It's a long time ago and the Dutch people are trying to forget it, aren't they?
Nico Martins is off the pitch, but his walking seems to be okay. We'll see if she can carry on for the last 4 minutes of normal time or so to play. But it's Sweden have the ball in their possession. Carnered has it, looking to play it through to Rolfo. Rolfo goes from distance, and that was a very good effort, but it was punched away again from Van Domselaar right in front of goal on the edge of the box. It was a super strike, and it was a super save.
It was brilliant save. She's getting the old hero status now, isn't she? I mean, she's come on as a substitute. She's been very strong, she's been brave, she's come out and collected things, she's gone and punched things, and that is a very good save and a very, very powerful shot.
Her first international competitive cap, Daphne van Domselaar, thrown right into the deep end, and she's got some more defending to do now because Sweden have got a corner. Aslani with the ball in, headed away and upwards, still not cleared away though by the Netherlands, and it's back out to Ilstedt. And this time Berenstain will try and get involved and clear it away. Sheridan Spitzer just misses that ball, and Sweden can try and control this again, but it just gets away.
It's good when they play just now, when the ball's played up to Blackstenius, her technical plays are maybe a little bit better than Hurtig's. You know, Hurtig's her work rate's fantastic, and you love watching her as a player, and as I say, a great player to play alongside because she drags players and develops space for you. But Blackstenius has shown really good technical ability, and when it's come up, she's held it and played the right passes.
2 minutes to go until we reach the 90. It's now the Netherlands who are looking to make an attack of their own. It's Pelova driving this ball on the far side. She's got into the box, she's cut in as well and tries to take the shot on. It was blocked, and it's out for a corner kick to the Netherlands.
She looks as if she's disappointed she didn't start Pelova, and I know she is quite a regular starter, but since she's come on, she's had a bunch of drag backs, she's done little dummy step overs and everything. She looks as if she wants to get a game at the start in the next game.
This corner kick will be taken right in front of the Netherlands fans, who are cheering their side on. There's not long to go. Both sides know they will try their best to get a winner. Could this be the one? The corner comes in, and it's straight into the hands of the Swedish goalkeeper Lindahl.
Oh, you don't often see that.
And it wasn't a very good clearance because it stopped right onto the feet, and Berenstain tried to get there, but the referee has pulled it back.
I have to say, it's been a long time since I've seen that happen in a game of football. She goes to play, Lindahl goes to play a drop kick, but the forward puts the foot up. It hits the foot, and the referee allows play on. That's almost always stopped as the Miedema puts the foot up. Yeah, I have to say, I'm on Miedema's side in that one, because she's not put in a dangerous area. She's a good foot and a half away. Certainly most games the referee just gets a whistle out and gives a free kick there. Would have been interesting if that had led to a goal. I think the VAR would have had a job to do.
We do have VAR. They've not had to really get involved today, have they?
Not at all.
Attack coming forward again for the Netherlands. Pelova this time on the right side, looking to play it into the box. She's got to get away from a couple of those blue shirts that are surrounding her. She's got options to her and decides to go to the far side and pushes her way through. It's Willems, keeps on going as well, tries to get away from Seger, who's holding out strong, that experience playing a big part, and it's Eriksson who gets the ball out of danger for now. Pelova tries to play it through, but the ball went out of play from Willems and wasn't allowed to continue on, even though she's asking.
I don't think the Dutch fans agree with that decision, do they? They're booing the referee, booing the assistant referee over there. They thought it was actually a free kick that was given. They thought it was a throw-in that was given, so I think the Dutch fans misunderstood that.
So Chisora Pulev coming soon on 5 Live. Our team at the O2 ready to take over at full time in this game. We've still got 4 minutes to play. That is the amount of time that have been added on in this second half. 4 minutes. It's Netherlands 1, Sweden 1 here on 5 Live. We've got an exciting end coming up to this game. It's the defending champions, the Netherlands, against the top-ranked side, Sweden, and the favourites as well. And it's the Netherlands who have got a free kick in their own half.
First bit of bad feeling that's actually come into the game just now. Some of the fans are getting a little bit of a bit annoyed, and certainly I think it's the tension that's building. Nobody wants to lose this game, not just the players but the fans. They understand how important it is.
Van der Gracht with a really big kick, a little bit too much on that. Pulova was doing her absolute best to try and get there, but she couldn't, and it goes out for a goal kick.
And that is also the first sign of, I think, time wasting, pushing it. But Pulova wasn't in any big hurry to get the ball back to the goalkeeper, left it in the corner there, giving her team to get back, get the shape, make sure they don't lose a goal.
Well, it has been a nervy one, but it still could go either way. Sweden now on the attack, and they got a little touch in there from Van der Hoff just to play it away, and out to play for a Swedish throw-in into the Netherlands half. It's back to Seger, and now it's Bjorn playing it through to Kana Eid, who has been lively since she's come on as a substitute. Back to Ilsted. Kana Eid on this near side, waiting for Benison to be an option. Kana Eid just playing it out to the side of the box, and back out from Aslani, who swings it into the box, and it's headed out now. Rolfer on the edge of the area. Rolfer just trying to get a shot away. It was blocked, and it will be another Swedish corner.
Lots more pressure being put on there. It is interesting to watch Kana Eid down the right hand side. She's looked dangerous, hasn't she? Since she's come on, she knows the position well. She wants to pick it up in the last third, and she's asking questions all the time. So far, that first defence is held out well.
Corner to Sweden. This time it's in the corner where all the Swedish fans are cheering their side on. It will be Kosovari Aslani to swing this ball in for Sweden. It's not quite cleared away, but it goes the way of the Dutch.
Foul on the goalkeeper, I think, there. What we're seeing very early on, we'd expect a little bit of pressure to be put on Domsala, and they put just slightly too much on there, I would suggest.
Van Domsala then going to try and get this as far up the pitch as possible, because we are running out of time here. 1 minute left to play. Netherlands 1, Sweden 1.
I wonder if they would give her the player of the match. I think there's a good argument she would deserve it.
Kana Eid with the ball for Sweden. It's intercepted by Martins, but it's quickly won back, and now Stina Blackstenius has got it on this near side, right hand side for Sweden. She does really well to get away from Orly Slagers, and it took a big flop from Sharida Spitzer, and it's another corner to Sweden.
Well, 30 seconds to go, maybe not more than that, probably just enough time to get the corner in, attack it and see this end. And it would be so painful for the Dutch if they didn't manage to see this one out, and their fans are all up the other side there. You can see the nails have been bitten just about where we're standing.
The nerves are building around the stadium, both for Sweden and for the Netherlands. Aslani with the corner kick in for Sweden, and straight into the hands of Van Domselaar, which receives a big cheer from the Dutch.
It's bad corner. It's went out and then back in again. I mean, you've got to put a little bit more pressure on than that. She's trying to put it right on top of the goalkeeper. Do you know what? We're calling for him to do that earlier on. You can stop now. She's all right.
There goes the full-time whistle. What a game we've had here. It's been a brilliant contest between two of the top nations in the Women's Euros. It was Sweden who were on top of the first half, but the Netherlands were able to respond in the second half. Jonna Andersson got the goal for Sweden. Jill Roord got the goal for the Netherlands. Nothing to separate the two other than that. A point apiece for both of them. Pat Nevin, your final thoughts?
You know, you're going to watch a lot of these teams all the way through, deep into this tournament. I suspect both of them will get out of this group, and both of them show that they're top quality teams. I wouldn't write either of them off at this point in time, even though it's been a 1-1 draw.
1-1, it's finished here in Sheffield at Bramall Lane, so a point apiece. Everyone's got a point in Group C now after this group of games. Netherlands 1, Sweden 1, it's finished.